So if your belief is, I'm not good enough, I'm not capable enough, I don't have enough time, it's not possible, that's the gun that is killing you and that is killing your dreams.
You're listening to Marketed by AHBC Group.
Hello, and welcome to Marketed, the podcast that inspires and guides authentic entrepreneurs to build the soulful brand of their dreams and lead a purpose-driven business. I'm Anne-Héloïse, the host of this podcast and the founder and brand builder-in-chief at AHBC Group, a branding agency based in Miami, Florida. Today, we have a very special episode because this is the very first time we have a guest on this podcast, and I'm so happy. We have Maria here with us, and I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Is it okay if I grab the microphone? Oh, I feel like a singer now. Hey, Anne, and hello to all your community, to all of your listeners. I feel really honored and really happy to be here. It was really funny how we met. We're going to tell the story sometime, maybe in this podcast, but I'm just so excited to be able to work in this world and like to align in this world with people that are creating brands and businesses that have soul and purpose and meaning and that are driven by heart. Nice to meet you, to all of you. I'm Maria Sanchez. I'm a Colombian writer and business owner, entrepreneur.
The list goes on and on and on. The girl does a lot.
I have a personal and business expansion consultant company that is based in Miami, and basically I do what I love for a living.
That's the best.
That's the best. So I'm really happy to be here to talk about businesses, entrepreneurship, to talk about what's the relationship between personal expansion and the growth of a business, because that's been a lot of my path and a lot of what I do with my clients.
Okay, so I think the first thing I want to ask you, and I think your business has grown as you've grown, like in your personal and business life as well. But I think starting with the basics, can you tell us more about what the heck is personal expansion for someone who doesn't know at all?
Okay, perfect. I'm gonna talk about my story a little bit. I'm going to say that I was a girl full of dreams, full of visions, full of this need to grow, this need to eat the world, this need to create things. Mm-hmm. The thing that I enjoy most is creating things. And I have one belief that came to me when I came to this world. And that belief is that everything is possible. I was this girl trying to conquer the world and make her dreams come true. And there were always things limiting me from that. Mm-hmm. There were always beliefs, fears, feelings that were keeping me away of what I really wanted and of what I really dreamed. I realized in my path that personal expansion is the key to everything you ever want and desire. Mm-hmm. Whether it is a business, a family, a love relationship, more friends. I start doing what I know how to do best, study. And I start learning about personal growth. And I realized that personal expansion is all about not learning different stuff than what you already know. Personal expansion is about forgetting and letting go all of the things that you think you are or that you think you need to be, that society has told you or your family or whoever teach you when you were growing up, and just letting out the authenticity and the truth that is already within you. So personal expansion is all about forgetting and letting go all of the things that are limiting you from what you do really want.
Very interesting.
And that's the key to whatever you want to create. Because if you don't have those limitations, then what you really want from your heart can come into your life.
No, like basically what I get from it is like it's going back to your essence.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. And I actually recorded a podcast yesterday about that. And I was saying in that podcast that we have learned since we are little that life is tough.
Sure.
But truth is that life is tough when you are not in alignment with your truth, with your purpose, and with your path. Because when you are really aligned with your place in the world, life is easy.
And things flow easier. Yeah, I feel that definitely. And sometimes I think also I can really relate, like with business, sometimes things would just unblock and you're
love that word.
And we just talked about like COVID, like it's been your best year. And there's a lot of
in business,
fear, like
for people that were not in a conversation earlier.
Yes. And I feel like at the beginning there's lots of fears and everything. And if it's like your path and like you're meant to be doing that, stuff went great for you at the time.
It doesn't mean that you're not going to be afraid though.
Yes.
And we were actually just talking about this before we start recording. I was telling Anne about a lot of changes that I'm making right now in my company, and I was telling her that I think I forgot how to do this. I think I forgot how to have clients. I think I forgot how to get clients. I think I forgot how to be a boss. And now recording this podcast, I'm realizing that it's not about learning things to be able to do something. It's about serving and giving to the world your gift, who you are, your essence, your purpose, your gift that only you have. So nobody can take away from you what you can only get with your gift that is unique.
Yeah. And you don't have to know anything. Of course, there's knowledge and techniques but that's not why people go to you.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
That's the little things. And we think are the main things.
Yes.
So we block ourselves.
Yeah, true. Very true. So how, what I want to know kind of is like, how does personal expansion help you with business? And I think you call that also like business expansion, but how do you also link it with business?
I love that question. Okay, so this is, I think, my main passion right now. Passion. It's how do you get an entrepreneur or a business owner to grow and to forget about the limitations that the person has, so that person can now look at the business with a new mindset, with a new vision that is bigger and bigger and bigger. Because in the end, we think about businesses like this. When you think about a business, you imagine a big building full of offices. And that's a lie. Businesses are full of people. So when you think about a business, you should be thinking about people and those people's families and those people's boyfriends, relationships, lives. Yeah, it's full of life, all of it. And when you think about why a business is not growing, you always start thinking about Excel sheet, documents, papers, softwares, numbers, statistics. But who are the ones making the decisions in a business? It's people. So when you get people to grow and when you get them to expand themselves from the inside to out, then you have a transformation in the people that is making the decisions in a company. When you get that, you have the ones that are leading the vision of the company, the ones that are making the decisions can now decide with a new mindset and without the limitations that were blocking them from seeing the solutions, from finding out about what was behind, what was blocking them.
Very interesting, very cool. Yeah, and that makes me think a lot. Like I always tell that to clients and people about branding, that it's connect to people and like show up authentically, because like people do business with people, even if you're a large company, like whoever they're in contact with in that company is why they're doing business with the company.
I love that.
For the most part. So yeah, just like it relates to a lot of aspects in business, and whatever you're doing in your business in so many different areas, it makes sense.
Just to make an example, and this is something that I always say, like talking to my clients and to people, just to give a little example. Who is the one that sets the goals of the company? Is the CEO, is the business owner, is the managing director? And what goals is that person going to set? The ones that he or she thinks that are possible because of their mindsets, because of their limiting beliefs, because of their background. So when when you take out the limitations, you can truly connect with the essence and with the real reason why business exists. And it is to serve people. It is to give people solutions to a problem they have. So when you take that out, you can really have a business that is acting from the soul, from the real reason of why it was created, and not out of the fear of the CEO or the insecurities of the employees. And I think that's amazing. I get so excited talking about this.
And that's so funny that you say that, because like I just started basically growing the team, and so we had this team meeting and I set goals for the company, and I also asked the girls to set their personal goals with the company.
I love that.
And I asked them like questions like, what do you want to learn this year? Is there something that we're doing as a company that you're not involved in that you want to be involved in? And also both of them, they also have their passions and like side businesses as well, like creative businesses. And I think maybe some business owners would see that as a threat, like you're not 100%. And I think it brings a lot, because like
it's the opposite.
They're doing their own thing and like their business, being like creative, which is great in our thing to have, and growing and like figuring. I think having people who have their own thing, because like they figure shit out basically, and that's what I want.
I love
with
that.
My people is like figure it out.
I love that. There's something that's related to what you're saying that I always think about, and that I always also tell to people and to my clients, and it's that there's this like perception that in business you need to be professional.
Yes.
This word, professional. You need to be professional. And when you want people to be professional, you want them to be based on a manual, then you take away from them their personality and their authenticity.
Yeah.
And when you take that away from people, what you're taking away is their potential. You are taking away their uniqueness that they can bring to your company. And when you take away potential from them, because you're literally taking away parts of them like they are toys that you can break, then the one that is not taking advantage of all of that uniqueness and gifts and authenticity and ideas and creativity is you. One thing I always say is that if you want to have exponential results, you need to be the person and be vulnerable and be real and be human and have a personality and have authenticity. Because if you take that away from that person, you are literally taking away parts from that person. And every single part you take away from one person is taking potential of that person.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if I took you, Anne, and I took your love for playing piano out of you, I'm also taking away the possibility of you playing piano in the office on a party and having a great time for everyone. For example, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And sometimes also I feel like I had read this thing about, you know, like productivity, and how sometimes when you're blocked and like not feeling productive, you should do an activity that puts you in a state of flow, like something that you know that is like a bit challenging, but like you know how to do, and like you feel great doing that. It happens to me a lot. If I'm working from home and I have like a block, I will play the piano.
I love that. That's it.
Exactly. And then it unblocks, like, because you're doing something and being active and not like overthinking, how am I going to do that? What do I start with? And then you're just starting to be active with something you know and you feel comfortable in. And also it gives you ideas when you feel something that you love, or when you feel like kind of rested and like in a good place. That's when you have the best ideas. And
I love that.
You think differently.
Yeah. I love that. What you just said, the example you just gave, is exactly what I was trying to say. It's exactly that. And also, if you think about this as a business owner that is successful and that is efficient, let's say efficient, more than successful, because, you know, there are a lot of meanings to that word.
Yeah,
whatever.
How do you define it?
Yeah. So if you look at a business owner that is being efficient, then that business owner knows that when he has employees, what he or she wants is people, not robots. And if you take away from a person their personality, their vulnerability, their wounds, their fears, their insecurities, their passions, what they love, then what you want is a robot.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but a robot won't have creative ideas, won't do like the extra mile from the heart, then if you want creativity in a company and if you want exponential results, you need to be open to vulnerability and to persons being people.
I love that. And I think also like that made me think of this thing, you know, with the AI portraits recently. I'm sure you've seen them like on Instagram and stuff, and like just artificial intelligence and people being like, for designers or writers, aren't you scared that robots basically are going to take your job? And like even not artists with these portraits. And I don't know, I'm just not really scared with that, because what makes those types of work good, like art and like creative stuff, is the story behind it and the heart that was put in it. I don't know, like for me it's not the same, oh, I got this portrait and like this drawing from a robot like AI, or like someone drew it, and it's not about how it looks that much, it's what was behind it.
Exactly that. And also that has a limit. The thing that really moves mountains and the world itself is emotions, is stories.
Yeah.
That's how civilizations were created, out of stories. That's how knowledge was passed from one generation to another. A robot doesn't have all of that. To get again to the point in which we start, that was, what is the link between personal expansion and business growth? I think it's everything. And it's just what we said in the past 10 minutes.
Do you have stuff? I know you're like good and like we share similar interests in terms of like routines and stuff. Do you have stuff that you do like really, I want to give people, I love giving practical operational advice. Are there things that you do every day or like regularly that help you? Basically what you're saying is like in your business, whether you're like an employee, the CEO, like wherever you're at in the business, show up as the best version of yourself and always try to grow and like to be as authentic as possible. Are there habits and routines that you know make you better? And if someone just wants to start, what's your advice?
I would say just one thing, and it's fall in love with growing. Fall in love with growing and fall in love with getting to know yourself. What would be the practical advice? I could say journal, play the piano, go for a walk, watch the sunset, make a list of things you're grateful for in the morning. And of course, I think that can help. And of course, I do some or all of that stuff. But I think you need to start from your heart and from your story and from what really lights you up. And I think nobody knows better than you what those things are. For me, it can be journaling. For you, it can be playing the guitar, or it can be looking at the sky, or it can be driving while you are listening to a podcast. Nobody knows better than yourself what works for you and what gives you clarity and peace. But in order to find out all of that stuff, you need to fall in love with growing and fall in love with getting to know yourself. I think that people are scared of growing because they don't believe in themselves, and scared of getting to know themselves because they don't want to find out things that they are running away from. I think it's beautiful when you fall in love with that and you give yourself the opportunity to believe in yourself and to face the challenges and to keep walking even when you feel that there's no path, because that's the point. There's no path. You need to create it. And that's when you create a life that is full of wholesome moments and people. And that's how you create a life that is full of life.
Yeah.
There's no path. You just need to create it yourself. And you can only create it getting to know yourself and being in love with growing and with not knowing.
And I think that's great advice for when you're at a point in your life where you know that you're kind of meant for more, or that you feel like uneasy.
That was my journaling of this morning.
And it's fine, like just embracing the unknown, the uncertainty and everything, and like, you know, you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Just what feels right now, and like it will all unfold.
Take the leap of faith, because you're not going to fall forever. There's always something that is going to appear that is going to catch you or save you or help you or embrace you.
And so I think, that was great advice for when you don't really know.
We never really know.
Yeah.
We just know we're going to die. Even if we pretend we know, we don't know a fucking thing. What if I die in 10 minutes?
Let's hope not. We sue we were. No, but yeah, I see what you mean. But like, what would be, I think sometimes you have an idea, like when you're at a point when you have an idea of what you want to do with your life more, it can be, I think, professionally, but you're not there, or you feel like there's resistance. It can be with your family. I don't know if you want to share that stuff.
I have no problem.
If there's like a resistance and you feel like, I think there's moments like everything is against you, but you feel like you need to do something with it, like how do you deal with that?
Oh,
like launching your business or doing something that appears to the outer world a huge risk or doesn't seem smart to other people. What do you do, basically?
I love that question. And I'm going to say one thing to start the answer, and is you just gotta fall in love with believing in yourself. You gotta fucking fall in love with believing in yourself, because you are always going to find challenges. Sometimes it is going to be that your family doesn't approve. Other times your friends won't approve. Other times society is going to tell you it's super crazy that you start a business. Just go get a 9-to-5. Other times it's going to be even your ego telling you you are a loser. Stop everything and whatever. But I think it's falling in love with believing in ourselves and knowing that even when we are doubting about ourselves, about our potential, knowing that everything is going to pass. Whenever I'm in these moments doubting of myself a lot, as I am right now actually, because I'm making a lot of changes now, I just remember to myself, it is going to pass, it is going to pass, it is going to pass. And also life has shown me and it has proven to me that every time that things are the worst they can be, then there comes a miracle. And then there comes the sun rising again. So whenever is the darkest, I know it's about to be completely clear. So whenever is the darkest, I even get excited because I know a miracle is coming or a huge plot twist is coming. So it's like, yeah, so it's like, ooh, what's this movie going to show us next? But in order to see life that way, I think you need to have tools. And the thing that I find to be the most useful tools are your mindset, your beliefs. So that's something that I always tell to my clients when we work together after we do like all the super deep work about themselves, is that the new mindset and the new beliefs that they have are the most powerful tools they now have to face life. We as humans think that a belief is just something you can write down in the circle of your life when you're journaling, but that's a fucking lie. A belief is a tool. It is a gun. It is even a gun. A belief is literally creating your life. So if your belief is, I'm not good enough, I'm not capable enough, I don't have enough time, it's not possible, that's the gun that is killing you and that is killing your dreams.
Oh my God, that makes me think of something that I heard recently on a podcast, and it was about beliefs, and it was this thing, algebra, I think, class. So the teacher like had put like problems, and they wrote down like problems, and two of them were like unsolvable problems, basically like equations that were not solvable. And like one student arrived late to the class and he wrote those down thinking it was homework, like not having followed the course, those were unsolvable. Went on like to do them as homework, and like being like, of course, like this is really challenging, and then
but it's homework, so I would need to get it done.
Yeah, you need to get the homework done, and like I missed the class and everything, so fuck. And basically like then shows the homework to the teacher, and the teacher was like, what the fuck, like they're not solvable, and he solved the problems because he didn't, and no one even tried.
I love
like,
that example.
That was crazy. That's when I heard that. I'll try to link that podcast because it was really cool.
That's amazing, and I want to see it too, but that's life. That's life. That example is exactly what I was trying to say. And there's also, just to finish the idea, something else that I always tell to my clients when they are facing big challenges. And this is something that I learned myself because of my path and because of the challenges I have been through. And that is, I want to say it, challenges are there because life is so generous with us that is giving us exactly what we need to get where we want to be. So a challenge is there just to show you your fucking freaking potential. So when you have a fucking freaking challenge, embrace it and be grateful for it because it means that life is giving you the exact tool you need, and the tool is the challenge to unlock your potential and to unlock your next level. And to get to know your potential.
Yeah, it's like you're never given more than you can handle. And I just want to say, like, right now it sounds like very like positive and everything, but I know, like, I don't know about you, but when I'm in it and like there's a challenge and like I don't want it and I'm like, leave me the fuck alone, like I'm fine, like I'm grown enough, like I don't want anymore. But then you have, and it's okay to be like, fuck, I don't want that, but then you kind of mind yourself and like remind yourself of all that.
Yeah, I have two mindsets about that. The first one is when I am in a victim position. So that is like crying and like, life, why is this so hard? I would be better if I this or that. Like, why is this happening to me? Like, I've been good. Like, I've never done something wrong. That's victim position. And then I literally get sick of me. I literally get tired of me. And I'm like,
shut the fuck.
And I'm like, okay. Let's stop crying. Shut the fuck up. What do we have to do to pass this? What do we have to do to get this done? And then it's like, just go, stand up and do it. And then you realize that it wasn't that big.
It wasn't that hard.
Yeah. It was just your belief that was the end of the world.
Yeah.
So again, beliefs.
Yeah, I love that. I think the last thing I want to ask you is if you want to, is there like a specific program that you have? I know you have a lot of stuff going on, but like, is there something that you want to mention to people that you think for my audience would be helpful? And also, like, where can they find you, reach out to you and everything?
Oh, that's amazing. I love that you mentioned that. So first of all, go follow me on Instagram right now. Leave this app, go to Instagram, open the app, and you're going to write Maria L. Sanchez L, and then you're going to find my profile. In my profile, you can find my website. In my website, you can see all of my programs and also like a bunch of information about me, but actually about how can I serve you. Okay. So right now, actually, I have 2 open spots for my one-on-one consulting program for business owners and entrepreneurs that want to scale their business or that have a business idea or a dream that they don't know how to turn into a business. So I would love to work one-on-one with anyone that would be committed to finally have the results that they want and to finally go for their freaking dreams. So anyone here that has a gift, a talent, a mission, a dream that they don't know how to turn into a business idea, or a business idea that they don't know how to develop, I'm here to help you with all of that. So it would be great to work with you. So Anne is going to give you my profile and then you can ask me, talk to me. And last thing I would love to say is share this podcast to someone who can use it. Yeah, who needs it. Someone who is trying to quit. Someone who thinks it's the end. Someone who has lost hope. So share this podcast to that person because this is not the end, this is just the beginning. When we think it's the end, it's actually just the beginning of something else. So thank you so much for listening. Also, I have my own podcast. It is Creciendo Auténticamente y con Sentido. It has episodes in Spanish and English. And thank you so much for being here and thank you so much for having me here, Anne.
Of course. And yeah, I just want to say and thank you for the work that you do, because I know getting clients, like starting their branding process, I feel like we can see when they've done the work either by themselves or with someone. Sometimes they cannot afford having like the one-on-one coaching, but maybe they've listened to podcasts and used the tools on their own. And you can feel when they're clear and when they have a clear vision. I feel like that's when we can do the best branding work. Yeah. And it's very you come first like in the process, like they have to be very clear, and then we can work on the branding and everything.
And that's when they're going to have the best results in their business.
Yes.
Because there's alignment and clarity. And you can feel that. Literally, in order to get the clients you want to get, it's all about alignment.
Yeah.
And it starts from the inside.
Mm-hmm. And also one thing is like sometimes, and I feel like our clients are kind of at the same stage. And that's a great stage. Like we often think like you have to be just starting your business to like do that. And actually most of our clients are like 1 or 2 years in business. And that's when like you realize like it's hard and maybe you didn't believe that you deserve to invest in yourself in that way, or that you weren't sure about the business. And sometimes they feel after like a few years like, oh, I did all this work and it's like for nothing. If I now hire someone, like basically I wasted my time. But I feel that it's really helpful. Like I know at least in branding, you're not starting from scratch, because you have even if what you did like in terms of branding and visuals and all that stuff was really shitty and we don't use any of it.
You needed your path to create you.
Exactly. So that's never like you never really lost that time.
Never. And I love that you mentioned that, because as business owners or entrepreneurs or people who have a business idea or a dream but haven't started, sometimes when things don't go the way you want them to go, you feel like it's all effort wasted. That's a freaking lie. Please hear me out. That's a lie. Everything is creating you so you can be the person you need to be to share your gift and your passion and your mission to the world the way you need it to be. That's it.
Yeah. I love that. I think I won't add nothing more.
Thank you.
That was great. Thank you. Thank you for listening to Market It. I am your host, Anne, and I hope that this episode brought you value. If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean a lot if you could take a few minutes to rate and review the podcast. Follow along on Instagram at AHBC Group so we can stay in touch and so you can let us know if there is a specific topic that you'd like us to cover in future episodes. Talk soon.